Hey folks, this is Kevin with Map Practical. I just ran across something really cool. I thought I'd share it. Maybe it could be extra credit or something. So Shady Relief Archive is a great website. Some folks from NASIS, Tom Patterson, Bernard Jenny, they put it together with old hand-painted relief that was going to just be tossed out. They archived this stuff, and a lot of it's geo-referenced. So here's like hand-painted shady relief for the Western Hemisphere, Latin America, so on and so forth. They've got it for different continents: Africa, Asia, Antarctica. If you go to the world, they've got some nice ones, and some of them you have to just take a quick look because they might not have written that it was geo-referenced, but if it's a GeoTIFF, then it's ready to go. You can bring that right into ArcGIS and use it as a backdrop for your maps. But they had a really cool one here called the Physical Map Legend. So a hand-painted relief kind of as an oblique of all the geographic landforms. So I just downloaded that TIFF. It's kind of cool, right? And then I was going to open up Illustrator and just label this guy. So let's open up Adobe Illustrator. Great, so here we are in Adobe Illustrator, and you could go to Create New and then do a standard one, but what about if we went to File, New from Template? You don't always have to do it this way, but this is one way. So that Physical Map Legend, and let's use this guy here. Yep, and so it's going to create a Illustrator document, and we're going to flatten the layers to a single image. I know it's just a single layer TIFF, but we'll go ahead and do that. And it's going to create, so I'll just hit Tab so you can, let's see here, see the whole image. Tab will make all of your toolbars go away, and then Control-0 will take it. So it's a full size, really cool. It's got islands and a bay and a cinder cone there and a mesa and everything else. And I thought, I always love these depictions of all the different landforms. So let's bring some tools back. And I've already made some character styles. So the thing is you want to kind of follow the conventions, right? So a serif font is going to be for all of your physical features, and a sans serif font is going to be for all of your cultural features. And you could get into it and create your own, but I've already created some. So here in my character style palette, I don't have any, but if I go to Load, Character Styles, and then just navigate to wherever you have them, and they can be stored in an AI document. So I have one right there. And then boom, so I've got physical features that are on terra, so basically on land, physical features that are on water, and then cultural features on water. And so I'm going to lock my image. My image is just placed now inside here, and what you can see when I select it, it's embedded. That means that it's part of the Illustrator document, versus if it was just linked, it could still be in the folder where I was working on my project, but not actually in the document. This makes a little bit of a bigger document. So I'm going to lock that layer, make a new layer, and just call this one Physical Labels. All right. And then start labeling some stuff. So let's pull this out. We'll get the Type tool. And what's this guy here? We'll just label this guy. And it always puts these placeholder texts in there nowadays. Peak, and that's just going to be in the default Myriad Pro, right? But then I have my piece of type, and I'm just going to say Physical Terra, and it will take on that style. And now I can move this guy anywhere I want it. So there we go. And so I'll just work through this a little bit just to show you how I do this. So I can hit my peak and then hold down my Alt and just drag, and it just makes a copy. So that's, makes it kind of easy. Let's see, I'm going to label this as a Glacier. So, and then I'll get my T tool again. Oops, I accidentally clicked it. Let's try and actually, yeah, there we go. Glacier, cool. Now, if I wanted to move this right away, I'd have to go up and grab one of my selection tools, right? But that can kind of sometimes be a pain. So let me show you what I do. Make a copy of this guy, hold down my Alt again and drag it out here. And this is a Tidewater. I'm going to keep Glacier, and I'm just going to put in Tidewater. And then I think that's probably, yeah, that'll kind of work out good as a stacked label. And if I hit the Control on my keyboard and then click outside once, and now can go to the A and move this thing. So I didn't have to go all the way back and grab one of my selection tools, right? So let's do it again. So here's a Glacier. I'm going to bring it down. This is going to be a Mesa. Oops, Mesa. And so what would happen if I tried to just hit my A tool to get my selection? It would add another A. That's no good. But if I hold down my Control, click once, and then I can go right to A, and now I can just instantly have my selection tools. And then what do we got here? A canyon. Great. And then again, I'm just going to hold down Control, click once, get my A tool, and then I can move it. Yeah, and then what do we have over here? This would be like a tributary, this little bit of water right here. So that would be, I'm going to pull Mesa over, and tributary. And that is actually going to be land, right? I mean, excuse me, going to be a water style. So I'm going to say that's my physical water style. I'm going to click on that, and boom, it took it as a italics in blue, right? And yeah, so I can just move, this would be an archipelago, but since I'm going to mess that spelling up, let's go with something easier, like an island, right? Move that around, great. So we got a peak, but we also have, let's see, this would be like a mountain over here. Let's grab a peak, bring it over. This would be mountain, and just moving through some stuff, and then maybe the one over here is more like the summit, right? And it's just kind of fun to practice on your labeling skills, making sure that you have some nice cartographic conventions in your character styles. And there we go. And then what do we have here? So this is a waterfall, so I'll bring that one down and call this guy Waterfall. And then we'll just change that to a physical water style. Oops, first we have to actually select it because it's still physical terra, water style, there we go. And then this right here I think would be a reservoir, right? This would be a lake, so I could just make a copy real quick and bring that over. This would be a lake. And find a way to label that nice and clean, but that'd be a dam. So now we're getting into cultural features. So let's go ahead and label some cultural features. So I'm going to lock that physical layer. I'm going to make a new layer and just call that cultural. Labels. Super. And I can still use, well, I can just start over too. I can get a T. If I just hit the T on the keyboard, then it brings my type tool up. And then call this dam, and it'll probably remember the last style I had, but that's okay, it's quite easy to change. So I'm just going to select dam and then just go to cultural. And is that a water feature or is that just straight? Hard to say. Well, I think the thing behind it is definitely a reservoir. Let's see if I can remember how to spell that. Res, oop, there's no way. Let's see if I can find it over here. I think there's a V in there somewhere. That's what's messing me up. Oh, reservoir. Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah, that's one of those ones, man, that just every time gets me. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. All right, cool. And I want that to be a capital. And hold down that. I think, though, what I definitely want is that to be the cultural water. So that's some man-made water back there, right? And what about this guy over here? That looks like a little canal. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the reservoir and bring that over. Call it a canal. Great. And this guy down here, oops. So that would be a town, yeah. And move that, and then next to the town right out here is the harbor. Now I think the harbor is a man-made water feature. So I'll just, and then we can click it off and select it and change it to cultural water. There we go. But then you have this interesting feature sticking out right here, and that's a breakwater. But is the breakwater a water label or a standard cultural label? Well, I'm just going to go with it. Since it's usually made of concrete, it doesn't seem, it's in the water, but it's made of concrete, so there we go. Now I'm starting to see a few more physical things, so I'm just going to open up physical so I can just grab from some of my physical ones too. So there's a lake. Let's bring this over and call this a reef. And then placement, always just thinking about how they can tuck in nice so they have clear graphic association with things. Maybe this guy is a beach, so that would be same style right there. And oops. So what I did is I accidentally made myself a little bit of type down here, and that's not good, so I'll delete that. There we go. Move my beach up here. Pull this down. This would be the cliffs, right? Maybe put my cliffs there, and then here's another man-made water feature. I'm going to call this the Oyster Beds. And we'll make that a stack label. That kind of just tucks right in here. This is a bay. That's not man-made though, so let's go with the reef style. You see you can move through this pretty fast. This is the bay. And summit. So what did I get? I got the peak, mountain, I got all that. The bay, maybe out here would probably be the ocean or the sea. All right. I'm going to go with ocean. And oh, we got a desert over here, so desert, and maybe this over here would be the sand dunes. Yep, that could be cool. And what do we call this one down here? This would be an oasis. Oop, that's not what I wanted. I just want to change this out. Nice. All right, so I got a pretty good looking little setup here. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, pull it over. What about if I did tab again, get rid of my tools, Control O makes it fully sized. Well, that's fun, right? So there's a little, you know, probably could label a river. That would probably be a good thing to label once at least. How about this guy over here? All right, and then if I use my V tool to get this one, then I can actually twist it a little bit. There we go, so it follows it. And I can do a stream there. You know, there's a lot more I could do. Archipelago, this would be a peninsula, right, or a spit. Yeah, let's just call that a spit. Spit of land, I always like that term. So one of the cool things I always liked about this, about these landform maps, is I always kind of imagine where would I want to put my house if I was going to build myself a place here somewhere, right? Well, let's at least have a camp. Let's go camping on this. So if I go to symbols, and let's go to open symbol library, and there's actually one that's already pre-made for maps on here. So there we go. So there's a map symbol library, and I think on here somewhere we got a little campsite. So there's a campground. So I'll just add that to my symbols and make myself a new layer. Oop, and put that above everything else. This is going to be Kev's place. And then I'll just drag my symbol out. So where would I put it? Well, I kind of like being, you know, somewhere up on this little plateau up here by the lake, near the reservoir, close to the mountains, right? Or I don't know, maybe I want to be out in the flats, away from town. How about out on the mouth of this river all by my own? There we go. And then I'm going to label it Kev's place. And there we go. But, of course, I'm going to do it as cultural, not a cultural water. And then, you know, just kind of place that label so it has nice association with it. All right. Oh, double S. Don't need that. Let's just go with it. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and tab out. Go there again. Nice. So, you know what? It took me 10 minutes or something to create a really fun-looking little geographic landforms, both the cultural and the physical. And yeah, just to save that thing as a file, save as an Illustrator document, and do Landforms 2. It's already created one before. Oh, 12, nope. How about just 2? Super. Yeah, and go with all that. And then we'll also do a file export as, and we're going to make that. We could make it a TIFF if we wanted lossless, but this is just for a little bit of extra credit. So we'll do a JPEG. We're going to use artboard, so it'll be the full size of the artboard. Export, RGB color mode, that's fine since it's just going to be going on the web. 300 DPI, that's pretty good. We're going to embed the profile. Say OK, and that'll save it out as an image that we could upload onto the web. All right, fun. Enjoy.